Time sure flies, and we already have a brand new premium phone from IQOO, the IQOO 11. IQOO has managed to bring some fresh, cutting-edge features here, including Qualcomm's latest and greatest chipset. I'm Will for GSM Arena, and let's see what the IQOO 11 is all about in our full review. IQOO is releasing phones at a breakneck speed. We missed out on the IQOO 10 series, which was China only, but we did catch the IQOO 9s at the end of April. Despite coming out a couple of generations later, the IQOO 11 feels a lot like a sequel to the IQOO 9 Pro. It has a similar size and design, but it brings an upgraded screen, a bigger battery, and a cutting-edge Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset. The design here is pretty catchy. This version brings a soft vegan leather back, with a signature striped accent thanks to a partnership with BMW Motorsport. The back curves into an aluminum frame. Besides the racing stripes, you also get an impressive-looking square camera bump. You don't get any ingress protection here though. The IQOO 11 has a cutting-edge display. It's a 6.78-inch LTPO AMOLED with a QHD resolution and a 144Hz refresh rate. The refresh rate is faster than what we saw in its predecessors, so the user experience is that much smoother. And thanks to the latest LTPO tech, it's super adaptive depending on what's going on, and able to dial down all the way to 1 Hz. This screen is also really bright. We measured around 490 nits maximum with the Mano brightness slider, and this can boost to nearly 1200 nits in auto mode. That's flagship grade and excellent for a sunny day. The contrast is great here, and with a pixel density of almost 520 ppi, content is extra sharp. There's support for 10-bit color and HDR10+, and the color accuracy can be excellent depending on the settings you choose. The IQOO 11 has a pair of stereo speakers for your audio, and they have good loudness and nice sound quality as well. There are clear vocals and even some presence in the low end.
I'm wide awake, but you're a nightmare.
You can wake up and unlock the phone with an under-display fingerprint reader. And there are plenty of options for storage, 128, 256, or 512 gigs, though that's not expandable through microSD. The international version of the IQOO 11 runs Funtouch OS 13 on top of Android 13. It's an interface that brings some cosmetic changes and more customization options compared to stock Android. As I mentioned earlier, the IQOO 11 is actually the first phone we've encountered running on the new top Qualcomm chipset, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. It boasts up to 35% better performance and improved efficiency of the CPU compared to the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. There's support for new, faster memory tech like LPDDR5 RAM and UFS 4.0. And the phone also packs an in-house V2 chip for display and image processing. As you'd expect, the IQOO 11 tops the charts when it comes to CPU performance. The GPU is also impressive. The high-res display does take a toll on the scores, but in 1080p resolution the performance is unrivaled. Plus, the thermal management here is decent. You can expect some pretty solid gaming performance. The IQOO 11 packs a larger battery than its predecessors at 5000 mAh, and its battery life is better too. It scored an excellent endurance rating of 127 hours in our tests. But not only that, the charging here is off the charts, literally, thanks to the powerful 120-watt bundled charger. We can't even properly show the results of our 30-minute charging test, because the phone is able to charge from 0 to 100% in just 22 minutes. And even in just 15 minutes, the IQOO 11 can charge from 0 to 83%. There's no support for wireless charging here though. Now on to the cameras, which include a 50-megapixel main cam, a 13-megapixel 2x telephoto cam, and an 8-megapixel ultra-wide. Daylight photos from the IQOO 11's main camera are really good. The dynamic range is excellent, and the color saturation is just right. Sharpness and detail are mostly great as well, though occasional scenes did come out softer than we'd like. The portrait mode on the IQOO 11 works with either the main cam or the telephoto. The main camera has the edge when it comes to the quality, and gives better results in demanding lighting conditions. We prefer the portraits from the telephoto though. You get a more natural looking perspective, and don't have to stand so close to your subject. The quality is still good, as is the edge detection. Regular 2x zoomed photos are solid. They're sharp, with well-controlled noise and good dynamic range. The colors don't quite match the main cams though. The ultra-wide's colors also differ from those of the main cam. The quality is just decent, sharpness is okay, and dynamic range is respectable. Low-light photos from the main cam are excellent, perhaps thanks in part to the iQOO 11's V2 chip. There's some auto night mode processing that happens by default, and it's super fast to process. The results are well-exposed images with very good detail, reasonable noise levels, and nicely developed tonal extremes. If you directly toggle on the night mode, the performance is largely similar. The telephoto cam doesn't mind shooting at night. We didn't end up with any digital crops from the main cam. You again get automatic night mode processing, and these images have very good sharpness and detail, and solid dynamic range. The ultra-wide struggles to keep up in the dark. The exposure and dynamic range aren't half bad, but detail, especially in shadows, comes out soft and smeared looking. Manually toggling on the night mode does make a small difference here. Shadows seem darker and more detailed, and you get slightly boosted colors. Selfies come from a 16 megapixel front-facing cam, and if the lighting is good, they come out with a decent amount of detail and sharpness. The colors are vivid, and the dynamic range is good. The iQOO 11 can record video in up to 8K resolution at 30 FPS with its main camera. This footage is good, with reasonably wide dynamic range and extra detail compared to the 4K footage, but of course you have to deal with a huge file size. Here's a look at the 4K video. You get the same global properties, but a bit less fine detail. You also get support for electronic stabilization in this resolution. If you zoom in 4K, you'll end up with a digital crop and upscale from the main camera. You can record with a telephoto cam, but in 1080p resolution at 30 FPS. It's alright, but seems a bit underexposed. The ultra-wide is also capped at 1080p at 30 FPS. The quality is decent for this sort of camera. None of the cameras enjoys video recording in the dark, but the main one still retains a decent amount of detail and color saturation, and the dynamic range is reasonable. So that's the iQOO 11. Despite hammering out multiple generations of phones this year, iQOO has managed to deliver a very well-rounded and premium device. The screen, the chipset, the battery life, and the charging are all top-notch here, and the cameras are solid too. Probably the biggest shortcoming of the iQOO 11 is availability. iQOO is Vivo's regional brand, so it only operates in a few countries like India, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. But if you are lucky to have it in your market, the iQOO 11 is definitely worth recommending. Thanks for watching, guys. If you'd like to check out some alternatives to the iQOO 11 on our channel, you can have a look at our review of the Xiaomi 12T Pro. And then we have the Motorola Edge 30 Ultra. If you have other suggestions, drop them down in the comments below. See you next time.